If you're looking for a new solo game to try, the creators at Legendary Tactics are giving Maquis a look. We'll give you all our thoughts and impressions of this really interesting and compact game. This is Legendary Tactics. Alright, so today I am joined with Nato and Cax, and we're going to give a quick review here. So Nato, you are the rules guy, so I'd love to go to you first to hear from a rules perspective. What do you think of this game?
The rules are fine. They're pretty clear, and it's even though the book itself there's a fair number of pages to it, relatively speaking. I think the total length of the rules are like 12 pages, but they read really quickly and easily. They're not hard to grasp, I don't think. So I think it's reasonably well done. It's a fairly straightforward game, though.
But is there depth there too with the rules, or is it just too simple?
No, I don't know about too simple. I think that sometimes when rules are a little too short, it can be a problem because it leaves some questions, and it can be vague sometimes. But no, I think the depth of the rules and everything, the depth of the game is fine for what it is. What were your thoughts, Cax?
So you were just talking about the depth of the rules in the game, and I think this is, let's make no mistake about this, this is a lighter fare game for sure. And it's worker placement, but it's I really enjoy it. I think there's actually the last game we played. There were some tense moments when you're flipping a patrol and you're really hoping it's not going to be obstructing the way that you need to go to traverse back to your safe house. So there's a lot of kind of like neat little built-in tension. I particularly like though is the flavor of the mission cards, and I really love the idea of the scaling. So the 1, 2, and 3 stars, ramping up the difficulty of the mission, and I think that adds to some great replayability.
Now, Cax, you are as Nate is to the rules, you are the strategy man of the channel. So, do you feel that there's enough strategy to keep you coming back? Is this a game that will be replayable for you?
Well, actually, you saying that made me think about Nato and when he was talking about his learning game as he was reading the rules and how he said that he got blown out of the water just by some bad gameplay. And Nato, when you said that to me, and then comparing one of our last games that we played that we just absolutely where it was pristine, it was precision.
Yes.
Clockwork. Unfolding of the game. I don't think we could have played much of a better game.
Not a single mistake.
Yeah, really, it was almost perfect. And so I think but then those were 2 specific scenarios. So flip those out with more challenging ones, and then what happens, right? So I think that's where the replayability comes in.
What were your thoughts, Flash?
Well, it's interesting because you do the rules, Cax tends to be the strategy gamer, and I'm the theme guy. So for me, I really appreciate a game where the mechanics really complement the theme of the game. And this one is set in, I believe, World War II. Is this Nazi occupied France? And these are the forces that are rising up to take back
the partisan
city,
the resistance.
The resistance.
Yeah, the resistance.
Yeah. So so I want a mechanic then that feels like it complements that. And so with this one, I love that it feels like you're slipping around these patrols and you're doing covert missions and gathering intel and calling in field drops. So I love the theme. I love that it gives you a chance to have multiple paths to victory. I mean, you can try to do it without an extra safe house, or you can try to amplify the speed at which you get your intel in the game we played. But the game's easy to learn. There's lots of choice, really compact. Overall, I think this is a game I'll come back to as a solo game. I think this could be quite fun. I think what solo gamers want are a puzzle and a challenge that will just force them to give it a few cracks. And I feel like this one, as you say, Cax, the missions add the flavor to the game, and I think it'll be a fun game to bring out multiple times.
Yeah. Now, if there was a flaw, what would you say that would be, Cax?
Yeah, well, you know what?
Something that you didn't enjoy.
One of the strengths could also be a weakness, I think, in this case, because I think just some of the luck. When you have to reshuffle and you flip, you can just run into some bad luck, and there's no way around it. And you just there was a few times in the game that we played perfectly, that the wrong card could have actually ended it for us or really set us back, right? So, I think.
But you can avoid that through planning, because you can figure out the sequence, and if you play right, you can keep
to an
the
extent.
paths open.
To an
Yes.
extent. You gambled it a couple times, Flash. Yeah.
There will be imperfect, but sacrifices must be made, or you can prepare with a gun, or there are ways that you can mitigate that luck too.
Yeah, and I don't know. Besides, maybe the I haven't seen the game in hard copy, but maybe the pieces look like they're just cardboard cutouts, and maybe a little more pizzazz on it. They could have spruced this game up, probably at a cost, but to make it look a little fancier, maybe. But all the components are serviceable; they work fine.
So I would have two criticisms. One would be that I think it's good as a solo game. I actually really enjoyed this game playing it with you guys and making those joint decisions. So I would love to see this as a cooperative game, maybe a little bit bigger map, just an expansion. And that's not a fault of the game. It's just a different way to game, which I prefer. And my second criticism would be I would also, and I think this fits well with my first criticism, like Rue Baradat, Pont l'Evêque. There's not much going on there. Pont de Nord, there's sort of empty spaces, so I would like to see them have some extra features or functions that add more decisions to the game.
But in our playthrough, Flash, you were forced to go to those places regardless, so we still had to go visit.
That's right. Yeah, it just feels anticlimactic to be like, oh, I guess I have to waste a turn going to Rue Baradat, just to show up there, So it'd be cool if there was another function or two in the game that would give you more choice, like break somebody out of jail or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was something that I thought, but I kind of also like having those almost wasted turns to complete a mission. Like it adds to the decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, one of the things that I was really excited about with this game was that after playing with you guys, it totally dawned on me that I could sit down with my 8, 10, 12-year-olds and at home here with the kids fired up, and they would get right into this game. So I think that's kind of a neat part of the game as well, too, where you can actually, it's very, very family-friendly.
I was just going to say actually, I forgot to say earlier, I think my favorite mechanic of the game is actually having to make it back to the safe house.
Right.
I think that really puts a nice twist on the traditional worker placement.
Yes.
But if I had a criticism, and this is something that, again, might not be a criticism exactly, but it is something that I've seen commentary elsewhere about, and that is you can kind of solve this game. Like if we were to play the same mission again, we could probably do a lot of the same actions and essentially win every single time, or pretty much every single time, barring a bit of bad luck. So I can see this game potentially being kind of solved at a certain point where you know exactly what actions to take in what order, and unless a bad card comes along, that it's automatic win. So it may lose replayability, but it would take a lot of plays maybe to get there, but it could be one where you feel that you've accomplished everything in the game that you can do.
That would take a lot of playthroughs though before you hit that point. I think you'd be safe for a good while.
And then you can shelve the game and pull it back out once you've forgotten all the missions.
Yeah, because I think the 1, 2, and 3 stars, and NATO, I think you actually even mentioned that the game recommends you don't play 2, 3-star missions because they're too hard.
Yeah, there's some that are just too much.
That sounds like
effort.
a challenge to me.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. if people out there feel that they're at that juncture, pull out 2, 3-star missions and see how you fare.
All right. Well, any final thoughts from you guys?
I just want to say, get out there.
Get gaming.
And be legendary.